Have you ever looked at, a fortune measured in hundreds of billions of dollars and just wondered how? I mean, what does it actually take to build that kind of empire, to become one of the most influential people out there?
It's a huge question. And the journey, well, it's often not the traditional business path, is it? It's more about these incredibly audacious bets, maybe some foresight, and yeah, a fair bit of drama too.
Definitely drama. So today we're doing a deep dive into that journey, Elon Musk's journey. It's fascinating, often really unconventional, and, well, you can't deny the impact.
Absolutely. Our mission here is basically to unpack how he managed to amass this incredible wealth, trying to pull out the key bits of knowledge.
Right, giving you a kind of shortcut to understanding this really complex calendar and, yeah, the massive impact he's had across so many industries.
So where do we start? The beginning, I suppose.
Yeah, let's go right back. Elon Musk, born June 28th, 1971, Pretoria, South Africa. His family was, pretty well off. Mother, a Canadian model, May, and his father, Errol, a South African engineer.
And even as a kid, you could see that pull towards tech, towards innovation. It was clearly there. Taught himself programming before he was even a teenager.
Yeah, and the story about the video game Blastar. At age 12, developed it and sold it for $500.
Which is just amazing for that age. It really
Yeah.
shows that early mix of technical skill and that entrepreneurial drive.
Totally. But the sources also mention it wasn't an easy childhood. There was bullying, family divisions, stuff that maybe contributed to him feeling a bit like an outsider, maybe a bit unique.
And perhaps that challenging background fueled the next big step. In '88, he left South Africa, partly to avoid military service, but also seeking, well, bigger opportunities.
He went to Canada first, right? Got citizenship there, spent a couple of years at Queen's University.
Exactly. Before making that key move to the U.S.,
Hmm.
he really seemed convinced that the West, particularly America, was the place for his big ideas.
That conviction led him to the University of Pennsylvania. And he didn't just do one degree. He got bachelor's in both economics and physics by '97.
Which is a potent combination, isn't it? Business and hard science. And from there, well, where else but Silicon Valley?
The launch pad. Which brings us to those first real entrepreneurial steps. Zip2. What was that exactly?
Okay, so Zip2, he founded this in 1995 with his brother Kimball. Think of it like an early online city directory, but it also provided news content to big outlets.
Like the New York Times, wasn't it? In 1995, that must have seemed pretty out there, convincing newspapers to go online.
Absolutely radical. It wasn't just the digital yellow pages. It showed, I think, real foresight about how information was going to shift online. He saw the internet's potential early.
And it paid off.
Oh, yeah. Big time. 1999, Compaq bought Zip2 for $307 million in cash plus stock options.
Wow. So that was the first major win, gave them real capital.
Significant capital. And what's really telling is how quickly he moved, how he used that money. He didn't just bank it.
No, he leveraged it right away into the next thing.
Immediately,
Yeah.
which was X.com, launched in 1999, an online bank, another bold move for the time.
And that eventually became PayPal.
Well, yeah, X.com merged a year later with Confinity, which was Peter Thiel's company. And that combination became PayPal.
Musk was CEO initially, wasn't he? At X.com and then early PayPal.
He was, though apparently it wasn't smooth sailing. There was a power struggle, and Thiel ended up taking over as CEO.
So an early taste of those internal company dynamics and maybe conflict must have been a learning experience.
No doubt. But then came the really big payday, 2002. eBay buys PayPal.
For how much again?
Nearly $1.5 billion.
Okay. And Musk's share.
He personally netted about $175 million from that deal.
Right. And that money, that was the seed capital for everything else, wasn't it?
Absolutely. That became the foundation for SpaceX, for Tesla. His industrial empire, really. You see this pattern emerging. Take the winnings, bet bigger.
Reinvesting almost everything into the next, even riskier idea. It's like compound innovation or compound risk-taking, maybe.
It shows incredible conviction. So, with that PayPal money burning a hole in his pocket, he didn't just dip his toes in. He dove headfirst into some truly audacious bets.
SpaceX being the first one, right. May 2002, Space Exploration Technologies.
Yeah, and the ambition was just staggering. Reach space, fine, but drastically cut the cost of getting there.
And he funded it himself with the PayPal money.
Entirely. About $100 million of his own cash went into starting SpaceX. He was the first CEO, the chief engineer, pouring his fortune into building reusable rockets. aiming for Mars eventually.
Just mind-boggling ambition. And at the same time, he wasn't ignoring Earth. He got involved with electric cars.
Right, Tesla Motors.
Yeah.
In 2004, he led the first big funding round for this EV startup, put in over $6 million.
So he became a co-founder then, and the biggest shareholder.
Yep, and CEO of product. He was deeply involved in designing that first car, the Roadster, which came out in 2008.
The Roadster was key, wasn't it? It showed an electric car could actually be desirable, high performance. Use those lithium-ion battery cells differently.
Exactly. Kind of broke the mold. Traditional car companies weren't really thinking like that. And his goal wasn't just one fancy sports car. It was mass-market electric vehicles.
And this is where we get that quote, right, about putting all his money in.
Yeah. The sources say he claimed he poured basically everything from PayPal into SpaceX and Tesla, and also SolarCity, another venture.
Why? Because the odds were so low.
That's what he reportedly said. He didn't want to ask other investors to risk their money because he thought the chances of success were slim. So he bet it all himself.
Wow. That's commitment. That's really putting your money where your mouth is. That feels like the real starting point of the empire we see today.
It really does. But just as these huge bets were getting off the ground, bam, 2008.
The global financial crisis. Talk about bad timing.
Terrible timing. It became this absolute crucible for both SpaceX and Tesla. Pushed them right to the edge of bankruptcy.
Makes you think, doesn't it? You've got the vision, you've put everything in, and then the whole world economy collapses around you. How do you even navigate that?
It must have been incredibly stressful. SpaceX was struggling badly. Remember those early Falcon 1 launches?
Yeah, they kept failing, didn't they? One in 2006, then two more in 2007.
Right. Each failure wasn't just a technical setback. It was burning through cash and confidence. The whole project was on life support.
And Tesla.
Just as bad, if not worse. The car industry was in meltdown. Demand dried up. Tesla was hemorrhaging money, facing imminent collapse.
So he's got these two incredibly ambitious companies, both about to die, and presumably not much personal capital left.
Precisely. He faced this absolutely defining decision. Does he pool whatever's left into one company, try to save one? Or does he split the remaining cash and risk losing both?
That's a heavy choice. What did he do?
He decided to split it, back both horses, even though the odds looked terrible for both. A huge gamble.
And then things turned around. Almost like a movie script, as the sources describe it.
It really does sound like it.
Yeah.
Fall 2008. SpaceX tries the Falcon 1 launch again, their fourth attempt.
And this time...
Success. It finally reached orbit. A massive relief you can only imagine.
Huge. And that opened doors?
Almost immediately. Just days later, they secured that massive $1.6 billion contract from NASA to resupply the International Space Station. That was the lifeline SpaceX desperately needed.
Wow. Okay, so SpaceX is saved by the bell. What about Tesla?
Even more dramatic, apparently.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, 2008, December 24th. Literally hours before they would have gone bankrupt.
No way.
Yes. At 4 p.m. that day, they managed to close a final, crucial funding round, using, as one source puts it, Musk's last 2 cents from his PayPal money, plus other investors jumping in at the last minute.
Unbelievable. Christmas Eve, that saved Tesla.
It did. Gave them the cash, the strategic liquidity they needed to survive and eventually expand. It really makes you wonder if that fourth launch had failed or that funding round hadn't closed.
The world might look very different today. No mainstream EVs, maybe. Less commercial space activity.
It's entirely possible. Those moments in late 2008 were absolutely pivotal. Surviving that crisis, it really set the stage for the ascent that followed.
Right. So post-crisis, Tesla starts finding its footing. The Roadster proved the concept.
Launched in 2008, using those lithium-ion batteries in a new way. Then came the Model S in 2012.
The luxury sedan. That really made waves, didn't it? One car of the year in 2013.
It did. It cemented Tesla's reputation. Not just an EV company, but a maker of desirable high-tech cars. Then came the Model X SUV.
And crucially, the Model 3 in 2017, that was the big push for the mass market, wasn't it? More affordable.
Exactly. Aiming for volume. And under Musk's leadership, Tesla just kept expanding technology, production, market presence.
Leading up to that incredible milestone in September 2021, hitting $1 trillion market cap.
One of the biggest automakers in the world by value. It took a while to get profitable, though. It wasn't until 2019, really, driven by Model 3 production, that they started seeing consistent quarterly profits.
But that bet on EVs clearly paid off for his wealth. Tesla stock just soared, especially after joining the S&P 500 index in 2020.
Doubled its value then, cemented its position. And that wealth boost continues. Right. Mid-2024, shareholders approved that huge stock option package for him.
Yeah, valued at around $90 billion, tied to him being a key inventor, just adds another layer to his fortune.
And while Tesla was on this trajectory, SpaceX was having its own parallel rise,
Yeah.
overcoming those early failures you mentioned.
It really did mirror Tesla in some ways. So after the Falcon 1 success in 2008,
They quickly moved to the Falcon 9 rocket, much bigger, more capable, and that NASA contract provided stability and crucial flight experience.
then came the Dragon capsule missions to the ISS, first uncrewed in 2012.
And then the really big one, Demo 2 in 2020, launching NASA astronauts from U.S. soil on a private spacecraft, first time ever.
A truly historic moment. Ended reliance on Russia for astronaut launches.
And fundamental to SpaceX's success was mastering reusability. Landing that Falcon 9 first stage back in 2015, that was revolutionary.
Changed the economics of spaceflight completely, didn't it?
Absolutely. Suddenly, rockets weren't just disposable. That drastically cut costs. And they kept pushing the Falcon Heavy rocket with its 3 cores.
First launched in 2018, yeah. And then Starlink.
Right, the satellite internet constellation. Thousands of satellites up there now, providing broadband globally.
So SpaceX today is just a dominant force. Huge government contracts like flying astronauts, plus significant private investment. They've reshaped the entire industry.
And Musk himself didn't stop there, did he? His ambition keeps branching out.
Seems like it. Neuralink, for instance. Since 2017, backing this company, trying to link brains and computers.
Yeah, developing brain chips, very sci-fi, very ambitious. Part of his vision for future human intelligence, I guess.
And then there's the Boring Company, tunnels.
Launched in 2016.
Yeah.
Trying to solve urban traffic with, well, tunnels. And they famously sold those flamethrowers, too.
Right. A very Musk thing to do. But maybe the most high-profile, certainly most talked about recent venture is Twitter, or X.
Yes, the Twitter saga. April 2022, he makes that offer around $43 billion. Says he wants it to be a global free speech platform.
Then there was all that back and forth, the legal battles.
Until the deal finally closed in October 2022. He takes over as CEO. And then mid-2024, the rebranding to X.
With the goal of making it an everything app.
That seems to be the ambition. It definitely diversified his tech holdings. But it's fair to say the acquisition and his changes there have drawn a lot of criticism and controversy.
Yeah, surrounding content moderation, representation. It's been a lightning rod. And he's also pushing hard into AI now.
Definitely. His startup XAI secured about $6 billion in funding in May 2024. So clearly, artificial intelligence is another major focus for him going forward.
So let's talk about the bottom line, the wealth itself. It fluctuates wildly, right? Because it's so tied to Tesla and SpaceX stock.
Hugely volatile. His net worth can swing by billions in a single day. He first hit the top spot on the Forbes richest list back in September 2021.
And he's been bouncing around the top spots ever since.
Pretty much. Back at number 1 in June 2023, held it for a while, dropped early 2024, then back on top in May 2024 after that XAI funding round gave his holdings a boost.
What are the latest numbers, roughly?
Well, figures change fast, but around mid-2025, Forbes had him estimated near $432 billion. Bloomberg around $386 billion. Insane numbers.
And that massive increase is mostly Tesla's stock gains, including those options, and SpaceX's rising valuation.
Primarily, yes. SpaceX's valuation has soared past hundreds of billions thanks to successful launches, Starlink deployment, and those big NASA contracts.
So he's constantly vying for that top spot with people like Jeff Bezos, Bernard Arnault, the absolute peak of global wealth.
It's rarefied air. But despite the wealth, maybe because of it and how he got there, he remains, well, controversial.
Deeply controversial. A mix of incredible vision and, let's say, polarizing actions. He's known for being incredibly daring, announcing huge ideas.
Sometimes maybe before they're fully baked.
Perhaps, like that infamous 2018 tweet, taking Tesla private at $420, funding secured.
Right. That led straight to an SEC investigation for fraud, a hefty fine, and he had to step down as Tesla chairman for a while.
And beyond business, he makes bold political statements, advises government bodies sometimes, switches political allegiances.
And then there's the personality itself, that relentless drive. Sleeping on the factory floor, the constant tweeting, directing companies, hitting back at critics, often completely unfiltered.
So the picture that emerges is complex. It's this blend of, like, deep technical smarts, almost boundless ambition, and this really unconventional, sometimes abrasive culture.
Yeah, a dramatic narrative for sure. A guy who just seemed to believe in his vision no matter the risk, and built this extraordinary success through innovation, huge gambles, and just relentless hard work.
So bringing it all together, we've tracked this incredible path from a kid in South Africa selling a game to this global innovator revolutionizing cars, space, maybe more, building an empire worth hundreds of billions.
It's a story defined by those huge risks, the equally huge rewards,
Ah,
those moments where everything nearly collapsed.
And those last minute saves. It really is a kind of masterclass in conviction, how capital can be deployed, and just sheer force of will, maybe.
Yeah. And thinking about the sheer scale of it all, Musk's empire,
Mm.
it leaves you with a pretty big question, doesn't it?
Which is?
Well, in this age of, rapid tech change, seemingly limitless ambition, what actually defines success?
Mm.
Is it just piling up the wealth? Is it making these grand visions real?
Or maybe. Maybe it's just the willingness to push boundaries, to try the impossible, even if it comes at a huge personal cost or public cost.
It's something to think about. What parts of this journey really stand out to you? What does it make you think about the future of space or AI or EVs, knowing these kinds of forces are shaping them?
Definitely food for thought. We hope this deep dive gave you some insights into one of the most influential and certainly one of the most talked about figures of our time.